In March, Panorama did a report on South Africa called More Than Just a Game. I watched this in March and I was intrigued by it, then forgot about it and happened to watch it again today because I've been given an economics assignment on the economic impacts on South Africa of the World Cup. So having watched it, I took a few notes, I had a few thoughts, and I thought I would do a video on it to give my perspective of what I learned from the video and just generally about what I think about the World Cup being held there. Now, let's start with the history of South Africa. So there was apartheid there. Now this is particularly important because in the apartheid where there was racial segregation, which is enforced by the National Party government between 1948 and 1994, the rights of the non-whites were basically cut. They were not given rights. So then freedom fighter, political fighters, they all fought. Some ended up in jail, and there was riots, protests and everything. So when they got their nation back, ironically, many of those people have fled to mainland and other places instead of places like Robben Island, because of the fact that these places have become a place full of drugs, crime and gangsterism. The city is plagued by crime and drugs. There does not seem to be any suitable or normal way of living. These are the lifestyles of the people there. Now, what Panorama showed is that how history repeats itself between families, why people do drugs there and all these kind of things, but how also football seems to be helping people overcome drugs, because firstly, if they're playing football, they're not out there committing crimes, doing homicide, and secondly, because many of these people don't have jobs, so they do commit crimes to get money, to have a little bit of food and a lot of drugs. So that's what they do, and they get criminal records then, which make sure that they can't get a job in the future. So playing football gave them a different dimension to their life, and also it kind of made them forget about doing drugs, and it cut the amount of drugs they take and has helped many people like the football player Martin Africa. But he's once again back on drugs because for him, he states, and I quote, "You don't leave the gang." That's his perspective on it. So football has changed lives. So football is of significance to South Africa. The World Cup, though, is a different issue because here there's a big opportunity cost. South African government has spent I think over 2.7 billion on this event, and it's become a recent trend. The London 2012 Olympics has become a recent trend to use sports as a way of reinvigorating, rebranding a place, economic injections, bring it in. I mean, it's not just recent. Manchester had it for the Commonwealth Games, Sydney had it, Sydney had it for the Olympic Games, so they've been used everywhere. So South Africa are also trying, and theoretically it does work because it brings in economic injection, but it's not all about numbers like this much revenue, this much more business, this is the GDP. It's also to do with the people and the lives they're living and the quality of life, which is always hard to sort of measure. The thing is that I think this money could have been spent better somewhere else, helping with rehabs, drug abuse, more policing, just education, social protection for children, those kind of things. Those are the kind of things that My Life Foundation do, and they help people who are on drugs in South Africa get onto the pitch, play football, and so they are really helping. So the government could have supported them if they managed to fund this £2.7 billion for this event, because to be honest, the 66,000 plus jobs that were created from this, they're not going to be given to these people in the slums. They're going to be given to people who are already probably well educated, have a job, so it's not particularly helping them. And the second thing is these people live in slums for a reason. They can't afford housing. So South Africa is a very tropical, nice place. By bringing in so much publicity, media, football fans, it will boost the second home sort of market in South Africa, which always, as demand increases, house price increases, not just makes locals furious, it reduces the chance of people from slums ever being able to move. You know, drugs and all aside, if they ever want to move, it becomes difficult. So I do not think it was well spent money by the government of South Africa. But if people think differently, and I would like to hear your views to why this game has actually been, why the benefits have outweighed the cost. Thank you for watching.